Season 4 sees Tyrion Lannister go through a hell of a lot. Since the very first episode of the show, we've seen people look down upon Tyrion both literally and figuratively. But Season 4 starts off with a particularly specific, disrespectful moment from Joffrey at his wedding. This is a foreshadow of how Tyrion will be treated by his own family. Cersei's disdain for him leads her to publicly blame him for the murder of Joffrey, and his father Tywin sees this whole ordeal as a means of casting Tyrion out of King's Landing. All of this drama comes to a head in Tyrion's trial. And in this video, I want to look specifically at Tyrion's emotional breakdown at the end of that trial, his ever iconic speech, diving into why I think it's so damn good. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel, guys. It really helps out. Let's go! The trial itself that takes place before the speech is actually pretty unfair. Tywin, Mace Tyrell and Oberyn Martell are the judges, and Tyrion calls out the inherent unfairness of this. His father has a vested interest in seeing that Tyrion does not go free, we'll get to why that is in a moment, and Tyrell will just kind of go with whatever Tywin says. The witnesses are also heavily slanted against Tyrion. So Meryn Trant, Grandmaster Pycelle, Cersei and Varys all giving testimonies against the imp, with little room for cross-examination or questioning. The trial itself seems to be set up in a way that any sense of acquittal is impossible. Tyrion is really being backed into a corner with seemingly no way out. We see in the recess that his brother Jaime goes to bat for him, showing his deep love and care for his younger brother as he makes a deal with Tywin. If Tyrion is allowed to live, then Jaime will fulfill the role that his father has been longing for. He will renounce his Kingsguard vows and rule over Casterly Rock with a wife and have children. Tywin agrees to this, but only if Tyrion pleads for his life after he is found to be guilty.
When the testimony is concluded and the guilty verdict rendered, Tyrion will be given the chance to speak. He'll plead for mercy. I'll allow him to join the Night's Watch.
If he does so, Tywin will be able to use that to send him to the Night's Watch. But this only goes to show how little autonomy Tyrion has in this scenario. He cannot do anything. He has to succumb to the whims of family members playing and gambling with his life. It's degrading and dehumanizing. Let's talk about Tywin for a second. We know that Tywin hates Tyrion. That's just a very clear part of his character. But we also know that Tywin's duty is to his family, his blood, and his house. There is an inherent public embarrassment that his son might have killed the king, and this trial is shining a light on that for all to see. The ideal scenario for Tywin, as we see him convey in his conversation with Jaime, is for Tyrion to put up a defense, stand up for himself. There is a weakness in just straight up giving in, but when he is proven to be guilty, plead for his life so that Tywin can send him to the Night's Watch. For one, this would take Tyrion out of the line of Lannister succession. Succession to the throne, yes, but more importantly to Tywin, to Casterly Rock. We've seen Tyrion ask his father for his birthright to inherit Casterly Rock, and we've seen Tywin's harsh refusal of that. The embarrassment of Tyrion is evident in that scene.
You want Casterly Rock?
It is mine, by right.
And I would let myself be consumed by maggots before mocking the family name and making you heir to Casterly Rock.
Why?
Why? You ask that? You who killed your mother to come into the world? You are an ill-made, spiteful little creature, full of envy, lust, and low cunning.
So Tyrion taking the black would solve all of these problems. It would remove him from the house entirely. But I think of similar importance is that it would save Tyrion from execution. Tywin would not want this, not because he loves his son and can't think of doing any harm, we know that not to be true, but purely to save the embarrassment of the Lannister name. For the head of the Lannister family, the hand of the king, to execute his own son, that would be looked down upon greatly. It would make him a kin slayer. So we see Tywin seize this opportunity, optimistic as to where this trial will lead to in his favour, but he doesn't expect what actually happens to take place. Shay's testimony is the last straw that breaks the camel's back. We see this woman that Tyrion actually loves come out and accuse him. Not only that, but she publicly taints their relationship.
I wasn't just her maid. I was his whore.
I beg your pardon? You said you were his...
His whore.
announcing that she is a whore, corrupting the true relationship that they had, purely to tip the scales against Tyrion, and finally convince the judges and the public of his bad character, his guilt. You can see that out of everything that's happened, this moment is what breaks Tyrion. He quietly asks her to stop.
Shay. Please don't.
I am a whore. Remember?
He can't bring himself to raise his voice. He is heartbroken as his sadness bubbles into rage. Look at Dinklage's face here. His nostrils flare, his mouth scrunches up. It feels as if everyone and everything he's loved has turned against him. And this leads us into his amazing speech.
Father, I wish to confess. I wish to confess.
He mutters this first line, still hamstrung by his broken heart. What initially seems to be a man who has given up is actually a man who is setting the stage for what he is about to do next.
You wish to confess?
He jolts around to stare at the people of King's Landing. His posture is hunched over. You can see the anger in his eyes that spreads to his face as he spits out the words.
I saved you. I saved this city and all your worthless lives. I should have let Stannis kill you all.
A rendition of the Lannister theme plays slowly underneath, played on the cello, low and growling, symbolising the rumbling of Tyrion's rage. This lion has been cornered and is now lashing out.
Tyrion! Do you wish to confess?
Tywin tries to bring it back to order, trying to put Tyrion on the path that he has set out, confess and be sent to the wall.
Yes, Father. I'm guilty. Guilty. Is that what you want to hear?
And there is a nonchalant nature to these lines. Tyrion knows the game that they are all playing here. He knows that he is just a monkey being made to dance, and he's having none of it.
You admit you poisoned the king?
No. Of that I'm innocent. I'm guilty of a far more monstrous crime. I'm guilty of being a dwarf.
And the years and years of abuse and discrimination boil to a head in this very line. There is such tension in the delivery. It is pointed and hateful, being fired straight to his father, the one who has made Tyrion aware of his ailments every single day of his life.
You are not on trial for being a dwarf.
Oh, yes I am. I've been on trial for that my entire life.
Have you nothing to say in your defense?
And again, Tywin tries to bring it back to the topic at hand. Tyrion has gone off the rails. He is obviously emotional and unpredictable. Tywin is trying to rein it in so that his son doesn't do anything irrational.
Nothing but this. I did not do it. I did not kill Joffrey, but I wish that I had.
Peter Dinklage adds a little bit of crazy here that slowly ramps up during the rest of the scene. The delivery, the little smile that then crashes down into just pure anger, as he admits that he wanted to kill Joffrey, just like we all did for so many seasons.
Watching your vicious bastard die gave me more relief than 1,000 lying whores.
And Cersei's grabbing at the chair, and tension in her face just shows how much she hates him.
I wish I was the monster you think I am. I wish I had enough poison for the whole pack of you. I would gladly give my life to watch you all swallow it.
Samarin!
And here he is smiling through that pain. There is so much resentment in this man's face. He's turned feral. All sense of reason has gone. He knows what he is about to do, what he's about to demand. He knows that they all pinned him as guilty from the second he stepped foot into the trial, and so he takes this moment to unleash his true feelings. Don't forget that Tyrion did save them all. His leadership at Blackwater is what won that battle, and he feels like he should have credit for it. And so here is a man who feels rejected and unseen for the good deeds that he has done, looking at a crowd of people he saved that only see him as a monster.
I will not give my life for Joffrey's murder, and I know I'll get no justice here, so I will let the gods decide my fate. I demand a trial by combat.
There is nothing else to do here. He cannot win his freedom, his name in any other way. And so he flips the coin, he rolls the dice. The small chance of winning the trial by combat is better than the zero chance of him coming out of this trial as an innocent man. And just notice how Tyrion's gaze is fixed on his father for so much of this scene. All of the rage, all of the spite directed at Tywin. And you can see the faces of everyone else in the room drop. Jaime is devastated. Cersei is furious that Tyrion didn't give in. This didn't go to plan. And the final two shots are Tywin and Tyrion staring each other down. This is a massive loss for Tywin. Nothing that happens next is what he wanted, what he planned for. And the small smile of Tyrion's face shows a hint of satisfaction, disrupting this sham trial put on by his family. He will either be a free man or die. The one thing he will not do is confess to a crime that he didn't commit. It is textbook Tyrion Lannister taking control of this situation in his own way, and it is fantastic. One of the most iconic scenes in Game of Thrones. Peter Dinklage really brings the goods here, delivering an acting masterclass. That's the end of this video, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I have other Game of Thrones content on my channel if that's your jam, as well as other film, TV, and gaming analysis. There are links to playlists down below. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you like the video, and drop a comment down below on what scene you'd like me to cover next. I'll see you on the next one. Bye!